Good morning, Tomlin Middle School art students. This video is for my 2D, 1, 2, and visual art students. This week we're going to be looking a little bit more in depth about perspective. So far in the past weeks, I've given you the techniques for 1-point perspective. We've kind of touched upon 2-point perspective, and I've given you all the historical information about perspective, as well as all the artists who have contributed to the not only scientific, but architectural and mathematical course that perspective has taken throughout its time in our history. So today we're going to be doing a little bit more digital art. I'm going to be giving you a piece of information, a piece of paper that you can either work with digitally by drawing on your school laptop with one like a stylus on the laptop, or you can print it if you have that capability. And if you don't have either of those capabilities, it's quite all right. You can just kind of do a quick sketch of what the paper looks like on another piece of paper, and then you can do the activity on there, photograph it, and send it to me. So let me tell you a little bit more about what that piece of paper entails. So what that piece of paper is essentially going to be a couple of different, looks like two-dimensional items. Now those two-dimensional items can be converted into three-dimensional items quickly by using the three different things that we talked about last week when it comes to perspective. What are those three things? Glad you asked. It is horizon line, converging lines, and vanishing point. So when we take a two-dimensional item and we start to convert it into a three-dimensional item, we can utilize those three things to create 3D. As things go into the distance, they reach a vanishing point. The lines that they create to get to that vanishing point are called converging lines. And how we look at them is dependent on where they sit on the horizon line. So this piece of paper is going to be really basic for some of you guys, but also really helpful for others when it comes to how do you take the simple shapes that you make and make them into 3D objects. We're going to continue this on my computer so I can show you exactly what that piece of paper looks like and what you have to do to it for me by the end of the week. Hey guys, so here I am on my computer. I just wanted to show you this quick little photo. Sorry, my shirt is gray, so it keeps blending into the background. But this photo is of a large church at the top of Marmont in Paris. The church's name is called Sacré-Cœur. It is one of my favorite places that I visited in Paris last year, and here I have it as my background. So just wanted to share you that photo. And today we're going to be working on 2-point perspective. Last week we worked on 1-point perspective a lot. And now I would like you guys to start looking at 2-point perspective. Now, 2D2 students, you'll be working with 3-point perspective ultimately. I'll give you a video on that on Thursday. But you can't learn 3-point perspective until you learn 1-point perspective and 2-point perspective. Visual art students, you will go through the whole array of perspective. So this week, you will be focusing on 2-point perspective. Last week, you already looked at 1-point perspective. And my 2D1 students have already looked at 1-point perspective in the form of landscapes. And you will be continuing to do landscapes as a final project. However, it's always good to look at all the different arrays of perspective just to give you an idea. So you can kind of put any object in your landscape and you can draw them appropriately with the right type of perspective. So here I am on my computer. We are doing a video recording via Zoom, and I'm going to share my screen with you of the same piece of paper, the same project that I'm going to give you this week. Now this assignment essentially is what I'm looking for you to get back to me by the end of the week. You can take as much time as you want on it. And it might be a little bit different than the one I'm showing you now, but really all it is focusing on how 2-point perspective works with 2 different vanishing points. So let me share you my screen and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so here's my screen. And here I am up in the corner, right there. So this is essentially going to be the same assignment that you get, sort of. So let me just get my zoom tool. Oh, I have to rasterize this. Hold on 1 second. Can't draw on it until I rasterize it. All right, here we go. So zoom. So essentially, this assignment reads, the line perspective, the line represents the corner of the box. Connect the end of each line to the vanishing point. Draw the sides of the box with vertical lines connect the sides of the box to the opposite vanishing point to create the top and bottom of the box. Erase the rest of the lines to the vanishing point. So here we go. Just move this over just a little bit. And I'm going to get my pen and let me get a color. Let's use red to start off with so you can see what I'm doing. So the directions read to take the line and connect the line to each of the vanishing points. So I'm going to take the left of my line, connect it here and here. And I'm also going to take this line from here to here and here to here. So essentially we have the corner of a box. Pretty simple. I kind of had described this in a Zoom lesson last week. Not everybody participated, so that's why we are doing this assignment today. So once we have these converging lines essentially established on each of my vanishing points, I am then now going to create my horizontal lines like so. Now we have the left side of our box and the right side of a box, but what about the bottom of our box? Because the horizon line, which let me give you a better idea where that horizon line is, goes from here all the way to here. That's our horizon line. It says it right there. It's kind of small, but that's where our horizon line is. And because the object is above our horizon line, we are going to see the bottom of our object. So let me get the same color. And now that we've established the corners like this, now what I want to do is take this line. Now, essentially what you want to do is take the furthest line from the vanishing point and connect them. From here to here and from here to here. So now we have an object essentially floating in space like so. Let me just connect this so that I can fill in this color. Bucket. And bada boom, bada bing, bada bango. Okay? So we have an object here and it is floating right above the horizon line. And so therefore, we can see just the bottom of this object because it's just above the horizon line. Now, I'm going to be asking you guys to do essentially the same type of work so that you can kind of understand what this process is like. Let me get a different color and let's try just a different line in a different spot. So let's try this line down here. So I'm going to connect this point to here, this point to here, and I'm just going to connect these lines right here because in Photoshop I can fill in this object, and to here as well, and to here as well. And let's make my my lines that go up and down from here. Like so, and like so. Oops. Fat fingers, sorry. And like so. Now we can see the left side and the right side of our object, but just like the one on the top, we're going to take the line furthest away from the vanishing point from here and connect it to this vanishing point, and this line to this vanishing point. And now we have a three-dimensional object below the horizon line, which we can look down on. Now let me take my paint bucket, paint, and let me get some black so that I can fill in these lines for you so you have a better idea. Actually, you know what? Better idea. Boom, boom, boom. Let's actually fill this in with a different color, a slightly different shade. Do this, and then boom, boom, boom. So now we have an object that sits just below the horizon line, a little closer to the right-hand side of the vanishing point. So we cannot see this back side because it's just not available to us because it's closer to this vanishing point. So let's see what happens when we work around the page. Let's choose like this one right here. Let me get a different color for you. Let's take this green. And we're going to take these lines right here. This line originally that's right here. Let me mark it for us, like so. And we're going to go from here to this vanishing point and here to this vanishing point, like so. And the same thing from here to here and here to here. Connect those, so. And we're going to make our lines, our up and down lines, from here, like so, straight down. Oops. Fat fingers. There's a button on my pen. Keep pressing it. And like so. And like so. Now the lines furthest away from the vanishing points, we're going to connect furthest away from here to here and from here to here. Now let's change my color just a little bit so I can fill this in. Let's do a darker color like so and get my filling it all in. Ta-da! So now we have an object that's slightly above the vanishing point, the horizon line rather, and we can see the right side and the left side, but we cannot see the back side here because it's closer to this vanishing point. Now let's do a different box, like so. Let's choose a orange, this, and let's do this one here. Let me get my pen. So from this point, like that, from here to here, and here to here. Now notice that this object is a little closer to the horizon line. It's very close to the horizon line. Okay? So we're going to get something that's a little bit different than the other ones. So my up and down lines. This. And let's fill this in real quick. Let's choose a color that's slightly darker so you can see my lines. And bada bing, bada boom, bada bingo. Fill this all in like so. There we go. There we go. So you can see that because we're closer to this horizon line, the object seems like we can't see the bottom or the top because it cuts right through the vanishing point. So that is critical when you guys are drawing your landscape or two-dimensional or three-dimensional objects. The vanishing line really determines how you are looking at your object. Are you looking at it from above or below or just from the side? Is it right along the horizon line? Let's do one more here. Let's choose a different color. Do something like this, aquamarine. And let me get my pen. And we're going to make the straight line again, just like so. And I'm going to connect this point to here and this point to here. And actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I did those wrong. We're going to actually Actually, let me think about this. These points would probably go. You know what? Because this object is so close to this vanishing point, it almost makes sense Nope, that doesn't make sense. So let me take a look at this. Let's think about this critically. Now, this object, let's experiment. So if we go from here to here, bada bing, bada boom, just like that. And then I did these from here to here, and here to here. And I made my up and down lines, like so. Doesn't really matter where those go. It really would only show one side because it's literally right on top of the vanishing point. So let's take my fill-in tool. That's a big part about art, is that it's a lot of experiment. You know, it's a lot of just figuring it out as you go. Now, using these rules and these tools are obviously super helpful, but when it comes to your particular type of art, you know, it changes all the time because your objects change in relationship to the artist. So, all filled in right there. Now this object doesn't really have a lot of dimension because it sits directly on top of the vanishing points. Now we can't see above or below because it is right on the horizon line, and we can't see the right side or the left side really because it's skewed in such a way that it doesn't allow us to see these. So this object nearly looks just flat, just one-dimensional essentially. But really, it has two dimensions, it's just where it sits. And this is really how a lot of historical art started out like, because they didn't really know how it worked. So let's actually do one very last one so we have a better idea. Let's try this one where it's below the vanishing point, but it's right on the same kind of, in the same kind of area. So let's make this one purple. And let me change my brush size just a little bit. So here we go. From here to here is our line. And I'm going to take these lines from here all the way to this original vanishing point, from here to here, like so. And let's take this one like here to here, and from here to here. And let's make our lines. So for example, like this. Bada bing. And oops. Oop, that messed up. There you go. That's what I wanted to do. All right. So let me just change my color just a little bit darker so that I can fill in the gradiency. There we go. And this actually needs one more line that I skipped. From here to here. There we go. And let me get my gradient, change my color, choose that one. Okay, and fill it in. There we go. So we are just below the vanishing point and the horizon line. So we can see the top of our object and the front of our object, but we cannot see the left side of our object because of where it sits on the horizon line. So here are a bunch of different boxes and how they work in comparison in two dimensions, okay? 2-point perspective, technically 3 dimensions, and 2-point perspective, and how they all work together on a perspective-oriented line setup. So we have our horizon line. Let me get my pen out again. Let's do this in red so I can highlight these things. So as I pointed out before, we have our horizon line, bright red, rather. We have a horizon line, okay? We have a vanishing point. We have another vanishing point back here, okay? And then we also have, which another phrase is this phrase for converging lines, but I like to use the phrase converging lines, okay? So that's essentially the same thing, okay? Just ignore that. And what I'm looking for you guys to do is essentially complete the same thing. So let me just expand my view here. I can't figure it out right now. I don't want to burn much more time of yours. So essentially, this is the same type of work that I'm looking for you guys to do. I hope that you have fun doing this. I would suggest that not only do you do this with just boxes, which are really the easiest way to do it, but I really urge you guys to take other shapes and kind of think about how those other shapes would change in comparison to their viewpoint, their vanishing point rather, their horizon line, and their converging lines. So that's what I got for you guys today. Pretty easy. Work on it for a couple of days, and I'll get back to you guys about 3-point perspective next. So this video again is for my visual art students, my 2D1 and my 2D2 students. 2D2 students, bear with me. I know this is a lot of other stuff, and we will get to 3-point perspective. We do need to learn these first. So hold on tight. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Stay cool.